In this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can extract information from a BCF file such as this one here. And we are going to use BCFTOOls to do this. So what we are going to do is to extract information from this file, and we are going to save or store that information in another file, which is this one here. And we are going to open this file with our spreadsheet software. And so by the end of this tutorial, we are going to generate something like this. Let me also say that I have tutorials that show how to install BCFTOOls. So if you don't have BCFTOOls installed, you can watch those videos to set up your PC. The links to those videos are in the description box, so make sure you check them out. And let me also say that the ebook as well as the script for this tutorial are all available on my Patreon channel. So check the description box for the link, and then you can use that to get the materials. So take note of that. Okay, so we need to first get our example data, which is here. I have it on one of my GitHub repos. And this is the page. I will leave the link to this page in the description box. So when you are here, just scroll down and then search for a file called variants.vcf.gz, this file here. So if you want to download, click it, and then you'll be sent to another page. When you are here, go to the right side, you'll see a download button here. So click it, and then you'll be asked to save the file. So this is how you get a file. If you want to download using your terminal, you can right click and then copy the link and then move to the terminal to download. So let's do that now. So on the terminal, I'll first create a working directory. So I'll say make the variants, and then I'll cd into it. And then when I'm here, I will download the file. So I'll use wget to download the file. So I'll say wget, and then I'll supply it with a download link, which is this one here. You can use curl or any other downloader. The most important thing here is to get the file downloaded to your PC. So I'll use wget, I'll supply the download link, and then I'll execute this command. So let's do that now. Okay, the file has been downloaded. Let's check the file. Okay, so now let's do an ls to check the file. So we have our file here. Now we are going to extract the information, but before we do that, let's look at the VCF format. Let's look at the specification. What information is available in it? So let's go to this online document here and then check what is there. So this is the page, and I'll leave the link to this page in the description box. So when you are here, just scroll down. Let's go to page 3. Okay, so we have some information here. So these 8 headers here, these are headers. So the first 8 headers will always be in the VCF file. Now let's go back to the first page here, and then we find that here. So we have the first 8 here. These are always in the VCF file. And then we also have formats. We also have this one here. So these are samples. So we have sample 1, sample 2, etc. So basically, that's what we are going to do. We are just going to issue commands that will explore and then also extract the information that we have here. So just make sure you read this document and then have an idea of what a VCF file is, in case you don't know, or in case you are new into this particular kind of task. So let's go back to the terminal and then proceed. Okay, we are back to the terminal now. So we are going to issue this command to get the headers. So we will say BCFTOOLS view, and we say -- header only. And then we call this file the VCF file. So if you do that, you'll have this. Let me repeat again. I'll say BCFTOOLS view -- header only, and then I will specify the VCF file, and then I'll execute this command. So I'll have the information here. So what we are interested in is this region here, this one here. Let me make this code more elegant. I'll do this. I'll record the command again, and I will say ~n1. Then I'll get the information there. So this is what we are going to do. So when we issue the BCFTOOLS command, we are going to specify what we want. So we will specify chromosome, position, ID, ref, alt, qual, filter, info, format, and all that. Okay. But here, anyway, we will see what comes up. And these are samples. Okay, so that's what we have. So this VCF file is a multi-sample VCF file. So that's what you need to know. Okay, so let's proceed. So by the way, in case you want to also learn how to count the number of variants, or how to list chromosome, how to get available positions, I've already covered those tutorials. And so you can check the description box for a playlist which has all those videos. So just check it, and then you'll see the link to that playlist. So let's proceed. So now we are back. Let's continue with what we want to do. So let's just say I want to extract chromosomes. Okay, the chromosome list. I want to see what chromosomes are there in our sample. Then I can say BCFTOOLS query, and I'll say -f. So the BCFTOOLS query -f is what is used to extract information from the various headers. We have chromosome, position, ID, ref, etc. So the BCFTOOLS query -f is used. So after that, you need to give your quotes. Okay, your quotes like this, and then another quotes like this, and in between you specify the information that you want to extract. So that is what we are basically going to do. So let's proceed. So let's just say we want to get the chromosomes. So we will say we'll add a %chrom, and then we will close it, and then we specify the VCF file. So this is what we are going to do first. So let's run this. So you'll notice that we have the chromosome also being displayed, but you can see that we have lots of numbers, which will sound confusing. Okay, if it's chromosome, we expect at least there will be some clarity here, whether it's chromosome 1, 2, 3, 4, but this is what we see here. So this is just bounded up and it's kind of messy. So we are going to improve this code. We are going to modify it a bit and then rerun the command. So let's do that. So let's record the command again. And this time, that's what we are going to do. We are going to add another character here called /n, so that the entries will be in separate lines. So let's do this. So let's now run this command. Perfect. So now you can see that everything has been done nicely for us. So now you can display them. But you also see that now we have just 14, 14, 14, 14, 14. If we just want to look at what chromosomes are there, we don't need all the repetitions. So we are going to modify this command again. And this time, you add this pipe command, and then we say unique. And then we run it. So this will give us just the chromosome numbers, okay, and all duplicates will be removed. So this is how we do it. So we are getting there. So now we are just doing an exploration here. So let's proceed. So you can also count the number of variants for each chromosome, and I've covered a tutorial on that. You can watch it. Use the links in the description box to do that. So I wouldn't go into that. Now let's look at how we are going to extract it. So basically, let me just repeat this command again. I'm repeating it again. So what we did here, we can do the same for position ID ref alt quality filter info etc. We can do the same for all of them. Okay, so and you can also combine them. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to do them individual. Some of them we are also going to combine them as well, and then we will direct the result to an output file. So let's proceed. So now we have done for chromosome. What about if we want chromosome and then position? Now let's find out. If you want chromosome and position, we say BCFTOOLS query -f, we bring our quotes, and then we bring our chromosome. And then because we now have 2 entries, so basically if you have more than 1 entry, you need to also bring a separator. Okay, something to separate them, otherwise it will be bundled up. Okay, so let's do this. So let's just do this. Let's just bundle them up like this, just to see what I'm talking about. At least now we know that the /n also works. It helps it to be more clear. So let's do this, and then you will see what I'm talking about. So we have chromosome, we have position. So let's run this. Now you see what is happening. We have some numbers here. We don't know which is chromosome. We don't know which is position. So we are going to modify this command again. So we'll say BCFTOOLS query -f, bring our quotes, and then we have Chrome. That's the first one. So if you want to separate them, you can use any character of your choice. You can use a tab character, or you can use comma, depending on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. Now let's try with the tab first. So let's say we want to separate them with a space or tab. I mean, any of them works fine. So let's just say we want to separate the entries with a space character. Then you have to bring your space, and then you bring your percentage again, percentage character, and then you say post, and then you bring the /n. The /n, you should always bring it, okay, so that all the entries are placed in separate lines, because we have different variants. So for each variant, its information should be displayed on another line. That is why the /n comes in handy. Now let's close this. So let's call the VCF file again, and then let's run this. Perfect. So now you can see that there's a space here. Okay, that tells you have chromosome, and then you also have this. Okay, so that's what we have here. Now let's proceed. Let's record the command again. So what about if we want to save this to an output file? If you want to save it to an output file, this is a Linux command. We can just call this, and then we can just say outputs.txt or whatever you want to call it, like this. You can do this. You can say query -f chrome post, then you put it in an output file. So let's run this. Okay, it has been done. So if you do an ls, you are going to fire an output.txt file there. So you can do a head and can just get the entries there. So this is what we have. You can also open this using your text editors and all that. But if you take a look at this file now, we have the values there. We have your chromosome, you have your position. But then if you read it, there's no description. And so before you issue this command, you can also put in some headers first. So before we issue it, we can say, let me just remove this file first, then we can proceed. So I can first say echo chrome post, and I'll direct this to output.txt. And then I'll now issue the command again. But this time, I'm not going to use this symbol. Okay, so this time I am going to use this symbol, but I'll double it. I'll just do this. This is what I'm going to do. So this 2 of them means we are appending. If you use 1, it's going to overwrite whatever was there, and we don't want that because we have already added one entry here. So we have to make it double so that bash will add it to whatever is there. So let's run this command. Okay, so it's done. So now you can do a head output.txt, and then you find chromosome and position. Okay, so now it makes sense. Okay, this is what we have. Again, you can open it with your text editor. That's fine. But then we separated it with a space. But then we can also save it as a CSV file or TSV file. And that one, it becomes easy to open that with a spreadsheet software. Okay, so now let's try this. Let's do this again. So this time, let's say echo chrome host. Okay, let's say echo chrome, and then let's say comma host. I like to use CSV, so I'll use the comma, but you can also use /c. Okay, so let's say this, and then let's say output.csv. Yeah, let's use CSV rather, because now we have a comma separated value. So let's say output.csv. Now let's recall the query command, and then when we come here, this space we'll clear it, and then we'll add a comma, and then with the output file, it will be output.csv. So let's run this command. Okay, we have done that. So we can do an ls just to check the file. Then we can also do a head. And this time we say output.csv. So now you can see that we have them separated by commas. Now let's open this with our spreadsheet software. I have my files here. I'll start with a text file here. I'll open it. So I have that here. So you can see it. And then I have my CSV file, which I can easily open with a spreadsheet software. So I'll open that. Nice. So you can see that here. Okay, so now it has been displayed for us nicely, so we can just move and then check them. And if I here, you can also filter. If you have a spreadsheet software and if you use that to open it, you can also filter. Let's say you want to look at just chromosome 1 or 2, we can filter. So I can do that here and then search for the variant for one chromosome. So I can just let's say I want chromosome 14, or let's say chromosome 2. I can just select it and then view the variant for chromosome 2 and then check the position. Okay, so that's what we have. So we are going to expand this and then add more information here. So let's go back to the terminal. Okay, so we are back to the terminal now. Let's do an ls again to see what we have. Okay, so now that's what we are going to do. Let's view the headers again. So we are going to get more information here. So we'll add id, ref, alt, qual, filter, info, and then the others. So we are going to add them, okay, and then generate an output file. So let's just add id. Let's say you want to add id. If you want to add id, you can just do that here. This time I will just display it on the terminal. So I'll just do this. For now, I'll use just the space character. So I have position and I also have ID. Let's add a ref. Now we know the pattern, so we have to just say ref, and also add the alt. And this we can add the quality, that's qual. We can add filter. So let's add these ones. Let's just use these ones here. So this time we are going to display them. So I'll run this command. Okay, we have that here. let's change this command. Let's go back. Let's just limit to the first 3 entries up to ID. And then let's run this command. Okay, so we have that here. So we can see that the ID field is just dots. There's nothing there. And so we can remove that from our query. So we are going to remove ID. So let's just call the headers again. And this time we are going to extract the chromosome position ref alt. And then we will also add others if it's necessary. So let's do that here. So here you say ref, and then you say alt, and then we will run it. So we have that here. Because it's we are doing this on a Linux command, you can add your head and tail. So I can issue the command again and look at the first few entries. So I'll say head and 5, just to look at them. Okay, so I can see them here. So you have chromosome position ref and then alt. Okay, so this is there. Okay, so let's continue. Let's look at the headers again. We also have filter, we also have info, we have formats. You can also add them. Okay, so that is something that I'll go into details in other tutorials. But for now, let's add the filter as well here. So we can add a filter, and then we can say percentage, then we add our filter. So we can do this to see what we have. So we can do this. Let's just do this and then just get the first 5 entries. So we have that here. Now with the filter, we can also choose to use only those that pass the filters. So let's look at how to do that. We can just do a grep. Of course, there are other approaches you can use, but I'll just use a grep to display that. So we have that here. We just display the first one. But of course, if you are going to filter and select only variants that pass the filter, then I suggest you use the BCFTOOLS filter command. That one, it's a better option than using the grep. So take note of that. So let's just display the first 5. And we have that also here. So we have our chromosome position and all that. So that's also good. Okay, so let's proceed. So we have that here. So now let's also store this result to an output file. So this time we have chromosome position ref alt and we have filter. So we can just do that. So we can just say echo. We need to first get the header. So I will say echo chrome post ref alt and then filter. And this time I will say variants.csv. And then I'll issue my BCFTOOLS query command. So I'll say BCFTOOLS query-f, and then I will specify the fields I want. So I have chromosome position ref alt and then filter, and then I'll add my /n character here, and then I'll indicate my VCF file. I will now direct the outputs to the variants.csv file. So let's run this command. Okay, we have done it. So we can display the first few lines. So I'll say head variants.csv. So I have the information here. Now let's open this with our spreadsheet software. Okay, so I have the file here. So I'll open it and it's done. Okay, so we can see the information that we extracted. So this is how we extract information from a VCF file. Now let's go back to the terminal. let's display the headers again. So I'll say BCFTOOLS view header only, and then I'll specify the VCF file. We can also obtain the allele frequency for each position. So let's do an ls to check our VCF file again, and this is it. We are going to extract, or we are going to get the allele frequency for each position from this VCF file. So to do that, we will say BCFTOOLS query -f, we bring our code, we say percentage, and we bring AF. This is what is used. I'll add my new line here, and then I'll specify my VCF file. So let's run this command. Perfect. So we have the allele frequency. You'll notice that for some of the lines, there are two values. This is because allele frequency is computed using AC and then AN. So AC stands for allele counts and genotypes for each alt allele in the same order as listed. And then the AN is the total number of alleles in core genotypes. Okay, so it's computed by dividing AC by AN. That's what we have here. Okay, and sometimes the AC will have more than one value. So if it has more than one value, then the computation will be done for both values, and then you have two allele frequency values. So that is why some of the lines have two values, because the AC values were 2. So take note of that. So let's get back to our terminal. So now we are going to add the chromosome and position to this information. So I will clear the screen first. I'll record a command again. So I'll issue BCFTOOLS query-f, and then when I come here, I bring my chromosome, I bring my position, and then I'll bring my AF. And then I will specify my VCF file. So this will give me chromosome position and then the allele frequency, because we want the allele frequency for each position. So it makes sense to add the chromosome and then the position. So let's run this command. Okay, so we have, it's done for us. So we have chromosome position and then the allele frequency. Notice that the separator here is space. Okay, if you take a look at the command we issued, there was space in between chrom post and then post and an AF. Formerly we were using a comma, okay, but now we are using space. You can also use a tab character. It depends on what you want at the end of the day, so you can try that. So let's try with a tab character. Let's say /t and then /t. So instead of space, we are using this. So let's run this. Perfect. So now we can see that the values have been separated using a tab character. Let's continue. Let's record a command again. Okay, so we have it this way. You can also add additional information here. So let's say instead of headers, you want to just add some statements here. We can just say chrom equals, and when we come here after the separator, we can say pos equals, and then when we come to this side, we can also say AF equals. So let's run this and see what comes up. This time I'll just issue the first 5 lines. So let's see what comes up. So you notice what has been done. So we have chrom equals 1, post equals this, AF equals this. So this time we are adding that information to all the lines. Okay, so you can do it this way, or you can choose to save everything and also add headers. So what we are going to do next is that we are going to save the output of the BCFTOOLS query command. Okay, so we are basically going to save the output for the allele frequency result we have obtained. So let's do that. So I will proceed. So I'll just clear the screen. Then I'll record this command again. I'll record this command again. So what I'm going to do is to use a comma separator instead of the tab. I'll do it this way. And then I'm going to save the output. I'm going to save the result to a file, to an output file. But this time, instead of first adding a header to the file and then doing this, performing this query to get this output and also saving to that same file, we will do everything on the same line. Okay, so let's save this. So we can say this, we are going to redirect and we will say allele frequency.csv. So let's save this. Perfect, it has been done. Let's do an ls, and we are going to see this file here. Let's do a head. So let's say head allele underscore frequency, just to get some of the lines. We have them here. So you will notice that there are no headers. So we are going to reissue the same command and we are going to add a header. So this time, instead of first adding the header to the file and then also executing this command, we are going to do everything on one line. We are going to do everything using a one-liner command. So this is how it's going to be. We will have this command first, and then we will issue our pipe character and we say sed. We bring a quote, we say 1i. So this sed tool can be used to process text. Okay, so this time what we are doing is that we are adding an entry to the first line. This is what the 1i means. So let's add that information. So we add slash and we say Chrome, comma, post, comma, AF. Then we close it. Then we can pipe to allele frequency.csv. Okay, so this is how it's going to be done. So this becomes the final command. So let's run this. Perfect, it has been done. So let's do an ls again just to see the file. And then let's do a head. So I'll say head allele frequency.csv. So now we will have that also given to us. So you can open this using a spreadsheet software. Alternatively, you can just use this command, this one here, and then you can redirect to an output file, and then this will also save it. But this time we will not have the headers, but rather we have them like this. So each line will have that annotation to tell you what kind of value it is. So you can do that as well. So I'll leave that to you as an assignment. Now let's proceed. Okay, let's do an ls again to check the files. Now we can extract what we call the per sample tags. Okay, so the per sample tag simply means information available for each sample. For example, the allele frequency that we obtained, it was for each position, but we can get the allele frequency for each sample per position. Okay, so to do that, we need to look into the info field. Let's issue this command again. So this is the info field. Okay, so the info field here contains information such as the allele frequency, allele counts, and then we also have combined depth across sample, that is DP. As well as other values. Okay, so if you take a look at this page here, you can get a description. Okay, you can see the information that is available that can be extracted from the info field. So we have some of them here. I'll leave the link to this page in the description box. So here we can get the A, ancestral allele, AC, AF, AN. So we have lots of information that you can obtain. Okay, for each sample. Okay, per position. So what we are going to do next is to extract the allele frequency as well as a couple of other values, and then we can just save them to an output file. So let's go back to the terminal. So we are going to extract the allele frequency for every sample, for each sample that is present here. We have the sample, so here up to here we have all the samples here. So we are going to get the allele frequency for all of them. So to do that, we have to issue our BCFTOOLS query command, and then the field of interest, in this case AF, we will put it in square brackets. So let me show you how it's done. We will say BCFTOOLS query -f, we bring our quotes, and then we say %AF, and then we bring our new line like this. Then we call our VCF file. So let's run this command. Let's just display the first few lines. Let's say -3 head-n 3. Yeah. So we have that here. Okay, so we have that for each sample per position. But you will notice that the values here are all bundled up, so it can be quite confusing. So we can add a separator. So we can do this. Let's add /t as a separator to properly format it. So now you have it done nicely for us. Okay, so that's how we do it. You can also save this. Okay, but let's add additional information. Let's add chromosome and then position to this. So to do that, we will call this command, and this time we will bring our %chrom, and then we say /t %post like this, and then we can issue this command. So let's run this. So you have everything here. Okay, now let's save this so that we can view it without spreadsheet software. So I'll just, so now let's save this. Okay, so we are going to save this. We are going to save the result to an output file, and then we can view with a spreadsheet software. So I'll just redirect it, and I'll say AF per sample .tsv. I'm using TSV because we are using a tab separator here. So I'll just save this. So now let's go ahead and open this file. Okay, so this is the file. So I'll open it with my spreadsheet software. Okay, we have opened the file. So this is how it's going to appear. So we have chromosome, we have position, and then we have the allele frequency for each sample. So this is one sample, this another sample, this another sample, another sample, and all that. So we can do it this way. Okay, so it goes throughout. So with what we have the chromosome position and then the allele frequency for each sample. Okay, all the samples in the VCF file. We can extract the allele frequency for just one sample. Okay, or for some samples. Instead of getting everything, instead of getting the allele frequency for all the samples, we can just limit it to a few samples or maybe one. So let's look at how we can do that. So this time we are going to specify just one sample and get that information. So let's go back to the terminal. So on the terminal, let's just display the samples again. I'll just get the first one. Okay, let's say we want this sample. Okay, so I can do this. So I can say BCFTOOLS view -s, and then I'll specify the sample. I'll specify my VCF file, and then I'll issue a pipe
and then I'll add this command here to it, this one here, everything here. Okay, so this time I'll just copy it and paste. Okay, I'll just add my first 3 lines. So I have the final command, so I can execute this. So I'll just run this. Perfect. So now we have the allele frequency in addition to the chromosome and position for just this sample. Okay, this sample here. Okay, for all the positions. So that's how we do it. So we can just combine some of the BCFTOOLS command to get a final result. Okay, basically. So you can also save this to an output file and all that, but this is something that I would like you to do yourself. Okay. So let's proceed. Now we are going to do this. We are going to add the AC and then the DP. That's the allele count and then the depth. That's DP. So we can do it this way. Let's record a command. So I'll add to this command. So in the square bracket, I'll say +T percentage AC /T percentage DP. And then I will specify my VCF file. Let's just display the first 3 lines. So let's run this command. So this will give you the other information as well. Okay, so that's what you have. But with what we have, I mean, still, if you display it on the screen, it becomes confusing. So you can just save it to an output file and then just read and then just use a spreadsheet software to read it. Okay, there are other things you can do to fine-tune these results and then properly format the data or the output. Okay, so if let's say you have an example VCF file and you want to extract some of this information and you're having challenges, you can just contact me and then we can arrange a session and then I can just guide you through that. Okay, what we've done so far was to use just one VCF file, this VCF file here. Okay, but sometimes you may have lots of VCF files and you want to extract information from them and maybe combine them. So in that situation, you have to write a bash script. That is what I recommend. So you can write a bash script and then that will help you to automate the process. We can also extract the genotype information. Okay, so for the genotype information, we can extract GT, which is the genotype encoded as allele value separated by either this. Again, if you're in such a situation where you need help, you can always contact me and then we can do that. You can also extract. So that's about it. So these other ones as well. But for this tutorial, we are going to extract just the GT info, the GT field here. So let's go back to the terminal and then proceed. So to extract the GT values, we can say BCFTOOLS query-f, we bring our quotes, and then we bring our square brackets, we add our separator, we add percentage, and we say GT. And then we can close it, add a new line, close the quotes, and specify our VCF. So let's run this command. I will just issue and get the first 3 lines. So let's do this. Perfect. So we have that information here. So with this one too, you can save to an output file. You can extract the GT values for a particular sample, and then you can also add chromosome position and others. Okay, so just go all out, try, experiment, and see what you get at the end of the day. So if you use BCFTOOLS and combine that with Linux commands, then it becomes easier for you to extract information from a VCF file. So I want you to just try your hands. Okay, so using BCFTOOLS combined with some Linux commands, you'll be able to extract information from a VCF file. Okay, we use just one VCF file. sometimes you may have lots of VCF files and you would like to extract information from these files. So if you have such projects and you are finding it difficult to do it, you can always reach out to me and then we can work something else together. So that's it. So just try your hands and then just reach out to me if you need any further questions, or if you have any further questions, just reach out to me and then we can discuss and then get something done. So that's all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check the videos on my YouTube channel. There are videos that show how to manipulate VCF files, so please do that and then learn more. See you in the next session.